It was a bone-chilling February day in Gumi, South Korea, the kind of cold that bites through layers and settles deep into your bones. The local police were dispatched to an unassuming apartment, following a cryptic call from an elderly couple living in the same building. They reported a disturbing silence and a sense of foreboding that had settled over the complex. What the police discovered behind the door of that apartment would haunt them forever. Inside, they found the frozen body of a 3-year-old girl. Her small frame lay eerily preserved in the harsh winter conditions, as if time had stopped. The room was a testament to neglect. Toys scattered haphazardly, a single blanket offering no warmth, and a palpable sense of abandonment. The grandparents, Mr. and Mrs. Han, who had made the call, were visibly shaken. They had lived just upstairs, unaware of the nightmare unfolding below. The child's body was in a state of arrested decay, a grim testament to the freezing temperatures that had gripped the region. The apartment's heating had long been cut off, and it seemed the cold had done what time and nature would have otherwise. The police noted the signs of prolonged neglect: no food, no running water, and an unbearable chill that spoke of months without basic necessities. As the investigation began, one question loomed large. Where was the girl's mother, Yoon-hee? Neighbors spoke of her sudden disappearance months earlier, around August 2020. She had left without a trace, abandoning her daughter in a soundproofed room, effectively sealing the child's fate. But the story was about to take an even darker turn, as whispers of a deeper family secret began to surface. As the frigid winds howled outside the small Gumi apartment, the police began to unravel the threads of a harrowing mystery. The grandparents, Mr. and Mrs. Han, stood distraught, their breaths visible in the cold air. Their hearts ached not only for the loss of their granddaughter, but for the perplexing disappearance of their daughter, Yoon-hee. Yoon-hee had vanished without a trace 6 months earlier, around August 2020. Neighbors recalled her as a quiet woman, often seen hurrying her little girl along the streets. But one day, she simply stopped appearing. The neighborhood buzzed with speculation, yet no one knew where she had gone. The investigation revealed she had left the apartment abruptly, leaving behind unpaid bills and a heart-wrenching scene of abandonment. Yoon-hee's departure was as mysterious as it was sudden. The police found no signs of a struggle or foul play, only the stark evidence of neglect. It seemed she had packed a few belongings and disappeared into the night. But why? What could drive a mother to leave her child in such dire circumstances? As the detectives dug deeper, they uncovered hints of a tumultuous life, an acrimonious divorce, financial struggles, and a new relationship that seemed to pull her into a different world. The most baffling aspect was the soundproofed room. It was as if Yoon-hee had anticipated the child's cries for help and sealed them off from the world. The stark reality of this intentional isolation weighed heavily on the investigators. What kind of desperation, or perhaps derangement, could lead to such calculated neglect? Yet, the story's darkness deepened. Whispers among the locals hinted at family secrets, long-buried scandals, and a past that Yoon-hee seemed determined to escape. The clues pointed not just to Yoon-hee, but also to her mother, Seo-yeon, whose behavior grew more suspicious with each revelation. The unraveling of this twisted tale hinted at even more shocking discoveries to come. As the investigation into Yoon-hee's disappearance deepened, the police were driven to uncover every possible clue. The abandoned apartment held many secrets, but none more startling than the discovery that would soon come to light. The first step was a DNA test to confirm the identity of the little girl found frozen in that cold, desolate room. The results were both shocking and perplexing. Yoon-hee was not the girl's mother. She was her sister. This revelation sent ripples through the entire investigation, turning what seemed like a tragic case of abandonment into a twisted family saga. The true mother, the test revealed, was Yoon-hee's own mother, Seo-yeon. Seo Yun had given birth to the child and then, in a move that baffled investigators, swapped her with Yoon-hee's own baby. The motive behind this bizarre switch was as murky as the icy air that filled the small apartment. As the detectives pieced together this disturbing puzzle, they realized they were dealing with layers of deceit and betrayal that stretched back years. The discovery of Seo Yun's role brought a new, chilling perspective to the case. Questions swirled around her actions. Why had she done this, and where was Yoon-hee's real child? The investigation uncovered that Seo Yun had orchestrated this dark exchange, weaving a web of lies that ensnared her entire family. Meanwhile, the weight of this revelation fell heavily on Yoon-hee. She had lived under the assumption that the little girl was her daughter, unaware of her mother's treachery. The detectives now had to unravel Seo Yun's motivations and find Yoon-hee's true child, adding a new layer of urgency to their quest. As they dug deeper, the secrets kept multiplying, leading them down a path filled with more twists and turns. Each clue seemed to lead to another question, another hidden truth buried under years of manipulation and secrecy. The revelation of the DNA test results had cast a dark shadow over the investigation, but it was only the beginning. As the police delved deeper into the circumstances of the little girl's tragic end, they unearthed a horrifying timeline. The child, only 3 years old, had been left alone in that soundproofed apartment for 6 agonizing months. The details of her solitary existence were almost too much to bear. From the moment Yoon-hee had walked out of the apartment in August 2020, the girl was entirely alone. She had no food, no water, and no way to call for help. The utilities were cut off due to unpaid bills, plunging the apartment into darkness and cold as the harsh winter months rolled in. The soundproofing, initially installed to provide some semblance of peace for Yoon-hee, had become a cruel barrier. The child's cries for help, her desperate pleas, were trapped within those walls. No neighbor could hear her, and no passerby would have known there was a life slowly fading away inside. The police found evidence that the little girl had tried to survive. Scattered crumbs, a few empty containers, and a broken toy were silent witnesses to her struggle. But as the weeks turned into months, her tiny body, weakened by starvation and dehydration, could no longer endure. The cold had preserved her small frame, but it couldn't hide the marks of prolonged neglect and suffering. The grandparents, Mr. and Mrs. Han, were left to grapple with their own guilt and horror. How had they not known? How could they have missed the signs? The police could see the toll this revelation was taking on them, but there was still more to uncover. The true depth of the family's secrets and the motives behind Yoon-hee's actions were yet to be fully revealed. As investigators continued to piece together the last moments of the little girl's life, they knew they were on the brink of uncovering even darker truths. The case, already shrouded in mystery and sorrow, was about to take another shocking turn. As the investigation into the frozen apartment tragedy continued, the police uncovered even more unsettling details. The true mother, Seo Yun, was not just a bystander but a central figure in a web of deceit. Her hidden affairs, the secret pregnancy, and the switch of the babies were just the beginning. The detectives learned that Seo Yun had concealed her pregnancy from her husband, leading a double life with multiple lovers. Each revelation brought new shocks. The father of the frozen girl was not Seo Yun's husband but one of her lovers, adding another layer of betrayal. This tangled family history painted a picture of a woman driven by desperation and fear, willing to go to great lengths to cover her tracks. Seo Yun's actions not only shattered her family but led to the tragic demise of an innocent child. The most heartbreaking discovery was that Yoon-hee had lived under the belief that the child she left behind was her own daughter. The realization that she had abandoned her sister, not her daughter, hit her hard. Seo Yun's cold manipulation had driven a wedge of mistrust and sorrow through the entire family, leaving scars that would never heal.